Okay, so if you want to put any value as a header or as a footer, you can use Apex facet tags, which are available in Apex page. Okay, so after that, I taught you Apex command button, okay, which we use to create the button. So I'm going to tell you what is it, when we use it. So I'm going to create one page, and here I'll create some command button. Okay, so before that, I'm going to write the definition of command button tab. Okay, so it's the child tag of Apex form. So when we will write command button, like when we write Apex command button, so before that we have to write Apex form. It's a child tag of Apex form. Okay, why we use it? To create the button, we use Apex command button tag. Okay, so which attribute we can pass it in command button? So first, which I have written, that was value. We can write the value. Value means label name. Okay, whatever you will write, it will be the label name of the attribute. It will be the label name of the button. Whatever value you will write inside the value attribute. Okay, so I'm going to write the attribute name. We have value, disable. Okay, next we have rendered. We have action. We have direction. We have style. Okay, so these attributes, these are the main, you can say, important attribute which we can use in you can say command button. So value means label name. If you want to disable the button, means we want to display the button, but it should be in disable form. It should not be very enable. That time you can use disable. Rendered means if you want to hide the on the basis of means possible values are boolean, and on the basis of boolean value you want to display the button or hide the button, that time you can use rendered. Action means if you want to call fx class method, that time you can use action. Direction, there are two possible value, left to right and right to left. You can give the direction to the button. Style, you can give the css to the button. Okay. These are the important attributes which we use in Apex command button tag. Okay, if you want to hide the button, that time you can use render. Okay, so I'm going to create some button and I'll use some attribute. Okay, then we will check the output. So we are on Apex base. I'm going to create one block. Okay, so before that, what I'm doing, if I'll use page block, and you can say inside the page block, if I'll use command button. So there is one mandatory tag which I have to write. What is it?
Apex
Before,
form.
yeah.
Apex form.
So before command button, we have to write apex form. If we will not write, we will get one error message. So I have written apex form. Okay. So here I'm going to create one block. Title block example. Not- Okay, so I'm not using block because by block I will get the standard functionality of the block. So without block, I'm writing command button. Okay, so value, any value we can write first button. Okay, so I have created 5 button. I'm writing the name, first button, second button, third, fourth, fifth. Now I'm going to say, okay, so value I have written. Now we can use one attribute that is disable. Okay, so here when you will write disable, you will use disable slash boolean. In parentheses, you will get the boolean, means we can write two type of data only, true and false. If I'm writing disable is equal to true, okay, so we will check how we will get the button. Okay, next is third button. Now I'm using rendered and I'm writing, first I'm writing false. Okay, so we will check third button will display or not. Again, I'm going to use one method that is action. Okay, so on click of button, you can call visual force page if you want to call the visual force page. Okay, else you can call any function. I'm writing third page. Okay, now I'm going to give the style. I'm using the style. Okay, so what I want to give the color to the button. So I'm writing background, then I'm giving color to the background. So it should be in green color. Okay, you can write any color, green. Then I want to give the color to the text. So color it should be white. Okay, then you can save it. So I'm giving style to for the button also. So background color it should be purple. Instead of green, I'm writing purple. I want purple color button. Now I'm going to click on preview button. So you can see what I'm getting. How many buttons I'm getting?
4.
Four.
4. So
But
one button why I'm not getting?
Because height
Because we have used rendered.
disabled rendered.
Okay, rendered is equal to false means we can't see the button. If it is true, that time button we can view. Okay, तो देखो प्रोजेक्ट में क्या आएगा कि हमने बटन पे क्लिक किया या चेक बॉक्स पे क्लिक किया. इफ वी हैव क्लिक्ड ऑन द चेक बॉक्स, दैट टाइम वी हैव डिस्प्ले बटन. ठीक है, उस वो बटन जब डिस्प्ले होना चाहिए जब चेक बॉक्स पे ट्रू हो, क्लिक हो. तो उस टाइम आप क्या यूज करोगे? रेंडर्ड पे यूज करोगे. ओके, so if rendered is equal to true, if we are clicking on checkbox, it will be true. That time button will display. On click of button, whatever action you want to execute, you can execute. Okay, so I have clicked on fourth page. I'm able to open the third page, third visual force page. So on click of button, what I'm doing, I'm calling to the page. Fifth button, I have given the style which is coming. Background color is green and text color is white. Same here. Background color is purple, text color is white. You can also give this style. ठीक है, CSS भी दे सकते हैं, जिसको CSS आती है, they can use it. Any doubt in button? How can we create the buttons?
No.
Good.
With the help of buttons action, we can access the pages also.
Yeah,
Like we can also use a controller and we can also use of buttons. Yeah.
means on click of button, you can call the function of the class, else you can call the visual force page.
Okay, so
Okay. Let's suppose on click of button, there's one button next. On click of next button, you want to call another visual force page, another UI. That time, what you will do, you can directly call the visual force page. Okay. आगे चलें.
so
Good. Okay. So next is I'm going to open classic UI. So it's the classic UI. I'm going to open any report, Groovy account report, and I'm doing the scroll down. So what I'm getting one card. Contact it's the card. Okay. Contact is the card. Case, second card. So here I'm getting two buttons. New contact, merge contact. New case is the button. Where I'm getting, it's getting on top. I'm getting it on top. Okay. So here how we will add the button. I'll click on the edit button. Okay. So I'll get the block. It's the page block. Inside the page block there are some sections. But here I'm getting three buttons. As a header, I'm getting three buttons. And when I will do scroll down, I'll also get three buttons. Okay. So if you want to add a button as a header or footer in a blog, so that time there is one tag that is page block button, which you can also use. Okay. If you want to display the button like that, you can use page block button tag, which I'm going to use it. Okay. So page block
Sir,
button. Hmm.
sir, we can also add buttons in footer with the help of Apex Facet,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So page block button why we are using, like what is the difference between Apex Facet and page block button?
ठीक है, पेज ब्लॉक बटन से बटन ही ऐड कर सकते हैं बस.
Okay, so can't we add the can't we add the buttons using command button if we are using the command button in Facet, Apex Facet?
मतलब पेज ब्लॉक बटन से ये बटन नहीं क्रिएट करेंगे हम. वी विल नॉट क्रिएट दी बटन विद हेल्प ऑफ पेज ब्लॉक बटन. we will give the direction only where
तो
button will
अभी
display.
dir का एट्रीब्यूट तो वहां पे भी था कमांड बटन में भी।
वो वर्क नहीं करता है सही से, मतलब कि ऑटोमेटिकली डायरेक्शन आएगी हेडर में और फुटर में इसमें।
सर आई मतलब मेरे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा डिफरेंस पेज ब्लॉक
हम्म,
बटन और कमांड बटन में। एग्जैक्टली वहां पे भी हम हेडर
हाँ
फुटर में डाल सकते हैं और यहाँ पे भी डाल सकते हैं,
ठीक
तो
है।
फिर
कमा अभी बताता हूँ मैं, ठीक है। पेज ब्लॉक बटन इट्स नॉट अ बटन, ठीक है। ये बटन नहीं है, इससे बटन क्रिएट नहीं कर सकते हम पेज ब्लॉक बटन से, ठीक है। what we will do, we will give the direction to the button, like or if we will write the if we will create a button in command button inside the page block button, so it will display on header as well as on footer, okay. And where it will display in the center. So this functionality we will get by default by apex page block button. Let me complete, then you can ask.
ओके सर।
And command button, it will work everywhere. Page block button, it will work inside the page block only. Okay. So whatever you will write inside the page block button, it will display on header as well as on footer. Okay. Next, which attribute we can use in page block button? So we can use location. So they are first attribute is location. There are two possible values, top and bottom. By default, we will get the button on top as well as on bottom. But if you want to display it on top, so you can display it on top, as well as if you want to display it on bottom, you can use bottom. So these are the possible values. Next, we have direction. We can give the direction. Okay. So there are two possible values when we will give the direction. First is right to left. Second is left to right. Okay. So these are important, you can say, attribute which we use in page block buttons. So what I'm doing, I'm going to create one page block. I'm going to delete the command button. Now I'm going to create some page block buttons. So title block one. Okay. So inside the page block, I'm going to use page block buttons, and inside the page block buttons, I'm going to, ठीक है, पेज ब्लॉक बटन्स लिखे हैं, बटन नहीं क्रिएट हुए. If you want to create the button, you have to use command button. Then I'm writing value first button. Okay. And if you want to give the style, you can give the style. Okay, so background purple color, white. Going to save it. So it's the second button. Now what I'm doing, I'm going to create one block. Just a minute. Let me write some body also. This is line 1. This is line 2. I'm displaying body also. Okay, I'm going to click on preview button and going to check the output. Okay, so inside the page I created block, and here I'm getting block 1, and then I create page block buttons. Inside the page block buttons I create 2 buttons. So buttons are displaying on header as well as on footer. Then I have written the message. So message it's coming in a body. Okay, now what I'm doing, I'm going to copy the code and again pasting it. So it's the block 2, line 3, line 4. And what I'm doing, I'm defining the location. So go to the page block buttons, I'm writing location. So location is equal to bottom. And again, I'm going to create third block. It's the block third, line number 5 and 6. Okay, and what I'm doing in page block buttons, I'm writing the location. Location means on top only, and I'm also giving the direction, right to left. Going to save it. Now I'm going to preview it. Okay, so you can see what I'm getting. I'm getting block 1. In block 1, I have not written the direction and location. So I'm getting the buttons on footer as well as on header. Then I'm getting the body. Then I've created second block, block 2. Location is equal to bottom. So on bottom side, I'm getting the button and I'm getting the body. Then I've created third block. In third block, I have written location is equal to top. So on top, I'm getting the button, and I have written the location also right to left. So it's coming in right to left. Okay. If you have any doubt, now you can ask to me.
So in the command button tag,
Hmm.
we have direction attribute. So what is the use of that?
वो
So
मतलब कि
so
ब्लॉक
from
के
there,
ब्लॉक
तो
के अंदर
वहां
बहुत
से
आपने कभी मतलब ओरा लाइटनिंग या एलडब्ल्यूसी में स्टाइल सीट का यूज किया है?
ना सर स्टाइल शीट करने किया.
ठीक है, तो जो डेवलपर हैं डब्ल्यूसी के उनसे पूछना आप, इफ वी आर यूजिंग लाइटनिंग कार्ड, ओके, सो लाइटनिंग कार्ड मीन्स लाइटनिंग कार्ड से हमें वाई टी वाई मिलती है, ठीक है, कभी उस वाई टी वाई को खोया है सीएसएस की हेल्प से? इनसाइड द लाइटनिंग कार्ड हैव यू यूज टिव, देन यू हैव पास द क्लास इज इक्वल टू एबीसी, देन यू हैव चेंज द कलर ऑफ द कार्ड, कंप्लीट कलर, पूरे कार्ड का कलर चेंज हो गया था या वो वाइट ही रहता है?
सर
हम्म।
लाइक अगर मैंने उसको एलडब्ल्यूसी को अपने
देखो,
वहां पे पेस्ट किया.
ब्लॉक का मतलब होता है हेडर फुटर बॉडी, वो स्टैंडर्ड होता है, जो कलर वलर सब चीज होती है ना वो ही रहता है, वो चेंज नहीं कर सकते। कार्ड में कभी कंप्लीट कार्ड का कलर चेंज करके देखना आप पूरा, इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल इफ यू आर यूजिंग लाइटनिंग कार्ड। लाइटनिंग कार्ड और पेज ब्लॉक दोनों सेम होते हैं, ठीक है, हेडर बॉडी फुटर मिलते हैं लाइटनिंग कार्ड में भी और पेज ब्लॉक बटन में भी। ठीक है, जो इन्होंने स्टैंडर्ड बना रखा है सेल्सफोर्स ने वो ही रहना है, वी कांट चेंज इट। ठीक है, अगर इन्होंने व्हाइट कलर का कार्ड बना रखा है तो व्हाइट कलर का ही कार्ड रहेगा। अगर आप चाहते हो कि ये वो उसको ही कार्ड को ही चेंज करना चाहोगे, ग्रीन क्लीन कलर का कुछ भी, ठीक है, तो फिर वो कार्ड नहीं हो। आप क्या करो फिर, तो एक टेब क्रिएट करो, क्लास इक्वल टू बॉक्स लिखो, उसमें लेंथ हाइट वाइट दो, कलर बॉर्डर दे दो 2 पिक्सल ये, तो उस हिसाब से वो क्रिएट कर लो, फिर कार्ड की क्या जरूरत हुई। ठीक है, कस्टम ही अगर बनाना है तो कुछ फंक्शनलिटी पेज ब्लॉक और लाइटनिंग कार्ड में वर्क नहीं करती। ठीक है, इसलिए उन्होंने मतलब कमांड बटन की लेफ्ट टू राइट, राइट टू लेफ्ट वाली वो फंक्शनलिटी पेज ब्लॉक और लाइटनिंग कार्ड के अंदर ये वर्क नहीं करेंगी, इसलिए इन्होंने पेज ब्लॉक बटन्स दिया है। ठीक है,
ठीक है, ओके।
क्योंकि
तो बट
हम्म।
ठीक है, सब वो लाइटनिंग में वर्क नहीं करेंगे, बट क्लासिक में तो वर्क कर सकते हैं कि नहीं,
नहीं,
वो भी वहां
वो
पे है।
लाइटिंग में मतलब पेज ब्लॉक का एक स्टैंडर्ड बना रखा है, उसको आप चेंज नहीं कर सकते। जैसे पेज ब्लॉक ये है ना, इसका कलर वलर आप नहीं चेंज कर पाओगे। जो इसका स्टैंडर्ड है वो, या तो आप कस्टम बनाओ फिर ऐसा ही ब्लॉक, सीएसएस यूज करो, बॉक्स क्रिएट करो एक, कुछ भी वो उसकी हाइट विड्थ दो, बॉर्डर का कलर दो, अपने हिसाब से क्रिएट करो, उसमें वो वर्क करेगा कमांड बटन की डायरेक्शन कस्टम में, बट पेज ब्लॉक के अंदर नहीं वर्क करेगा।
ठीक है।
ठीक है,
हम्म,
और कोई क्वेश्चन?
no, sir.
गुड। Okay, so button, we have learned how can we create the button. So now we will practice of some scenario. Okay, so what I'm doing now, we have to display how can we, yeah, first what I want to create the UI like that, and enter the information done. ठीक है, so we have a constructor and method. I want to display two button. I want to display two button. Okay, one is next button, second is previous button. Okay, I want to display on click of next button. I want to display the information of Koransu. On click of previous button, I want to display the information of Kirk. Okay, we have two type of data. We have two student data. So I want to display it. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट बटन पे आई वांट टू डिस्प्ले Koransu data, and if you will click on previous button, I want to display Kirk data. Okay, fine. But what is the requirement? Koransu is the student and curve is the employee. I am writing student information, employee information. Okay, I want to create two button, student information, employee information. Okay, if you are clicking on student information, I want to display student information. If you are clicking on employee information, I want to display employee information. ठीक है, ये टास्क कंप्लीट करना है, and we have to pass the value by apex class. I'm writing if controller, clicking on OK button, then I'm going to create one page, fifth page, clicking on OK button. Okay, so we will use the controller. So I'm copy the name of the class and writing controller attribute and passing the controller. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to create two button, student information, employee information. I'm going to create it. So first I'll use the command button. So which tag I have to use before command button?
fx form.
fx form. Okay, now I'm going to use section header. Title, subtitle. Okay, so inside the form, I'm going to create page block. So title, if you want to write it, you can write student and employee data. Going to save it. Inside the page block, we can also create page block. Okay. So first what I'm doing, I'm going to create page block button. So inside the page block button, I'm going to create two button. So I'm using command button. Okay. Label name means value, student information. Then whatever the action you want to execute, you can write the action. Okay. So we don't know any action till now. Okay. So these are the method which we are calling. So yeah, action completed. Now what I'm doing, I'm going to create page block. Inside the page block, we can create page block also. So I'm going to create the page block. Title, student information. Okay. Inside the student information page block, we have to display employee student name. We have to display student course and we have to display student branch. And we have to display student year. Okay, so these information we have to display. Then we have another page block. So inside the page block, I'm again going to create one page block. So title, here I have to display employee information. Okay, we have to display employee name. We have to display employee email ID. And we have to display employee salary. And employee address. These information we have to display. Okay, so I'll get the error message when I will save because there is no method available. Okay, so I'm not writing the name. First, I'm going to save it. I'm going to create the UI. I'm clicking on preview button and checking which UI I want to create. I'm able to create it or not. ठीक है, न्यू टास्क एक यूआई क्रिएट करें हमने स्टूडेंट एंड इनपुट डाटा बटन स्टूडेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन स्टूडेंट ठीक है इनपुट इन्फॉर्मेशन लिख देंगे डेटा ठीक है जो यूआई क्रिएट करनी थी यूआई हमने क्रिएट कर ली किसी को कोई डाउट है यूआई मतलब यूजर पोस्ट पेज के कोड में जो भी लिखा है मैंने जो एक एक लाइन का कोड मैंने लिखा है सब कुछ समझ में आ रहा है ये
Yes, sir.
गुड है ना मैम
Yes, sir. Understood.
ठीक है, good. Now what we have to do on click of button, we have to display the data. Okay, on click of button, we have to display the data from Apex class. So meeting will over within 1 minute. I'm going to close it. You can rejoin. Okay.